everybody, how are you? Welcome to the Mama Shoshana channel. I am Shoshana Mizell and I am so happy you're here. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment if you are inspired to. So today is the third podcast in the Why I Married 5 Times series. Get myself prepared because this next one, this third marriage is, this is a difficult one. Relax, sit back, because this one is a doozy, okay? I'll see you in a second. Okay, you ready? Welcome back, here we go. My third marriage. Now, how did I get from my second marriage to my third marriage? Well, how I did that was I cheated on my husband. I cheated on my husband, my second husband, but this person that I kind of fell in love with, and I know that falling in love with somebody, for me, is definitely a choice. You allow yourself to get somewhere emotionally with that person. You allow yourself to either flirt or to somehow shut yourself off from the partner that you're with, that you're, maybe not emotionally committed to or intellectually or mentally, but I was legally married, so I was definitely legally committed. And I had, made a vow. But those vows meant very little in my family when I grew up. My father was married 3 times, my mom was married 3 times. So, it just wasn't part of the reality of my growing up. But yes, so I did cheat on my second husband, and I kind of left clues here and there. I didn't mean to. I know it was subconscious. I know that I was deathly afraid of saying, listen, this is not working. I want to separate, or I want to get a divorce or whatever. Not having somebody else in the picture kind of waiting for me was unbearable. And if you have experienced this, you know what I mean. As I found out in later years, working very closely with a therapist, was relationship addiction and the fear of being alone. So, and it was quite a chaotic time. My second husband found out that I was, caring for this other person because he heard a recording. He found out. He was very upset, of course, understandably. And it got, I wouldn't say violent, but it could have become violent. And because of that, I wound up leaving the home because things were really bad. I mean, he was screaming, calling me a whore, calling me all these horrible names. And, we had our 2 children there. We had, my son, one son was 15 and the other one was 11. And it was just really bad. And I thought the best thing to do is just leave so that my kids didn't have to hear this ugly conversations, I wound up being able to stay in somebody's home. One of my friends, her boyfriend was out of town, so he was going to be out of town for a week, so I was able to stay there. Before my third husband and I got married, there was a lot of conflict. My third future husband, he put a lot of pressure on me to force my kids to meet him, and I was like, you know what? How can you even ask that? I mean, their family just got broken up, and you're the one that is involved in the scenario. You're not the cause of it, but you are one player in this whole, scenario. And it was pretty bad, honestly, if I had been a healthier person, I would have told my soon-to-be third husband that this is just not going to work. My third husband was very, very controlling, and now this is a contract that we subconsciously kind of made together, my third husband and I, is that I was needy. I was kind of a damsel in distress. I was a mess in so many ways. He used to actually look for unhappy married women. He was like a predator of unhappily married women. And that was the case with me. He wanted to rescue me. He wanted to rescue me from a bad marriage. And that was all his issues with his mother and father and things that he had gone through. I started going back to therapy. I got pregnant with my youngest child and had a very bad case of postpartum depression. And I started back to therapy intensely. And slowly, I got healthier and stronger and more emotionally independent. So that's when kind of things kind of went going not too great with me and my third husband, because I kind of inadvertently changed the silent contract we had, where he was the rescuer and I was the needy damsel in distress. I wasn't a damsel in distress anymore. I had gotten healthier. I had gained, a sense of independence, not as much need to emotionally depend on my third husband. I was able to, soothe and comfort myself, and then find outside, people like friends. I started developing, friendships in AA with other women, and I was getting support that way. And so that caused a lot of friction between us, because I also wasn't as demure and quiet in the relationship anymore. And I started kind of, confronting more, like, no, I don't want to do that. Or no, this is not the way that I want to talk to our son. If you want to discipline him your way, that's fine. I'm going to do it my way. And there was a lot of drama. He was a very, very angry person. He would say things to me that were unbelievably, horrifically hurtful, using things that I told him, about my father sexually abusing me. And I had the capacity for that as well, but I hadn't really used that in a while. And I kind of started matching his cruelty with my own cruelty for him. It was just a very immature, unhealthy way to deal with problems in a relationship or a marriage. Well, two things that were just the nails that closed the coffin, or whatever, however that goes, was that when my granddaughter was born, she was a preemie, and she was not on life support, but she was in the ICU. And so they had 24-hour nurses watching her and a couple of other infants, because she was born about a month early. So her autonomic nervous system, and which her heart and breathing, was not quite developed yet. It was 4 weeks shy of being completely developed. So once in a while, she would forget to breathe, or she wouldn't be breathing. And, they just have to, just tap her a little bit and rub her and give her some stimulation, then she'd be okay. So when I wanted to go back to see her to ICU, and I wanted to go see her the next day, it was, she wasn't critical, but definitely intensive care. She needed intensive care. And my third husband actually got angry with me because I wanted to go see my first grandchild, who was in ICU. And that made me realize how deep this went. And then the last thing that kind of was at home one evening, and he was complaining. He used to come up with these things like, where he would be upset about something simple, like if I left paper somewhere, but he'd kind of keep it in. And then he'd explode like a week later, rather than saying, you have all these papers there, it bothers me, can you please file away or put it away, or I don't want to see it, And I understand that, some people have their little idiosyncrasies, and his was not wanting to see papers anywhere. So he came home one day from work, and I guess, I don't know what I had been doing. I think I had been trying to make a costume, and I kind of had, sewing stuff all over the place. And he got upset with me and told me, you don't do anything, you sit around all day. And I'm like, I'm raising our son. I teach class and perform constantly to bring money into the household. And I had went to school for 1.5 years. I became a licensed massage therapist. I was also working 4 days a week as a massage therapist, doing like 5 massages a day, bringing money in that way. It's crazy. And I remember saying to him, I said, well, then what are you doing with me? I mean, why are you being with a woman who you feel is lazy and does nothing? And he felt I was placating him. And I remember he called me a fucking bitch cunt. And I remember the look in his face of utter hatred. I don't feel like he was talking to me. I feel like he was talking to someone else from his childhood, maybe his mother, very, very angry. And, but the look of disgust and hatred in his eyes, it was almost like it wasn't him. It was like he was glazed over, and he never apologized. I had to ask him for an apology about 3 or 4 days later. That was kind of it, a situation that, I can understand if he caught me like having sex with someone else in our house, or, doing something horrific like that. But it was just such an intense, disrespectful, misogynistic thing to say to your wife and the mother of your child. And I slowly just started to fall out of love with him, and slowly started to not really love him anymore. Definitely not like him. The things that I was trying to work through with him was definitely that part of my father that was so cruel. He would say things to me that, you would maybe say to another man if you're like fighting and you're trying to destroy the other person's, like, psychologically. My father would say these insane, horrible things to me. And my father was very Rachel, and so was my third husband. So I went from husband number 1 to number 2, needing to be rescued. From number 2 to number 3, needing to be rescued. Because no man could ever rescue me from my past. And I specifically chose men that were some facet of my father. And in doing so, I chose a man that had deep-seated emotional issues, either being anger or inappropriate behavior, and especially in a sexual way. Through my issues, through each marriage, it just didn't work. It didn't work. And horrible guilt I felt from hurting my family, hurting my children, hurting my second husband. And, it's more than just them. It spreads out to your ex-in-laws, to friends you had together. you know, my selfishness, my just tunnel vision of wanting to escape, being so unhappy in lieu of other people not caring enough, not being able to care enough to just be still and go through the pain. I was not capable of it. And so I kept on just, you know, compounding the guilt over and over and over again, and really not getting any closer to being a healthier person. In hindsight, I actually was getting closer to being a healthier person. I took the very rough road, not the softer, kinder way or gentler way. I took the very rough way, and unfortunately hurt a lot of people along the way. I know that I'm not responsible for other adults' decisions, but I am responsible for mine. And part of my getting better is just making sure that my side of the road, or my side of the, you know, my side of the street is clean. So I know that was a lot. If you have gone through this, please stick with me. Please try and get yourself some help, some therapy. You're not alone. A lot of people have been through this. A lot of people are going through this now. And a lot of people have recovered from the insanity of trying to fix things that are not fixable through constantly looking outside yourself in other relationships. It is definitely an inside job, but as you go through it, please be gentle with yourself. Think about what you were going through when you decided to act out with another relationship. What was the need? What needs were you trying to fulfill? What was happening? Tell your story. Don't tell the story that other people have created about you, that your mother and father told you who and what you are. It's okay for you to tell your own story, to understand yourself better. You know, you don't have to condone your behavior, but you can forgive yourself with the knowledge of what you were trying to survive from, and you did the best you could. So hopefully this helped you. I've got 2 more marriages to go. This was a long one. So if you have stayed till the end, I thank you so much. You're so important to me. And hopefully anything that I said has helped you, has at least sparked a thought in you, has helped you so that in a way where you can identify with me. Or maybe you're already there. Maybe you're already healed and you might have something really helpful to comment here for other people to read that could help them. So again, thank you so much for spending this almost 45 minutes with me. I love you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Mwah. Bye everybody. Take care.